Welcome to this week's edition of the Message Recap. Yesterday we read from a familiar passage in Scripture from Genesis chapter 9 about the rainbow after the flood. We were reminded that God was making a commitment, a covenant, as Scripture says, with all of humanity, that never again will He destroy the world with a flood, even though our hearts remain wicked. So we ask the question, what is in our heart? What is in our heart based on what is in God's heart? And the rainbow reminds us that what is in God's heart is life. The rainbow represents the bow, that God is no longer fighting against humanity, but God is fighting for us. God is fighting for life. And so we talked about some hard topics. We talked about abortion. We talked about capital punishment. I even got in one little comment about gun control. I realize that these are big topics, and some of you may wonder why we even address them. In fact, I was wondering this last night. When people are going through such difficult times, what does this do for our faith? And I'm reminded that it grows roots that are deep. And deep roots are able to stand and hold firm in the midst of life trials. It may seem like these hard topics have nothing to do with our everyday life, with the situation we're in, but I promise you that when we lean into them, they strengthen us, they'll hold us, they help us grow deeper by dealing with things that perhaps we've never dealt with, or perhaps we've not talked about in a very long time. I want you to remember this, that God is for you. When we say that we stand against abortion, we are not saying that we stand against a mother who's ever had one. We're not saying that we are against anybody who would even say that I am for pro-choice. Here's what we're saying. We will fight for life, both inside the womb and out, from the first breath to the final breath. We are the church. We are God's people, called to have God's heart in the world. And God's heart is to fight for life. So know this today, God is fighting for you, but now He's calling us to be sure to fight for those around us this week. Have a great week. Live for God.